for you. So I'm gonna jump in here because we've got several announcements that are massively exciting before our equally exciting two speakers today that have been kind enough to come on to help our team. And Jamie, could you go ahead and open us up in prayer, please?
Sure. So, Lord, we just want to begin by putting this time in your hands. And we thank you so much that your hands are holding us even right now. And I just pray, God, that we each one would get something special about you, about your creation, about how you made our bodies, and Lord, about just your own closeness, Lord, that you would cause our minds, our very brains to wake up and be alert to all that you're asking us to learn this morning. And we thank you for the speakers and ask you to anoint them special in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate that.
You
Okay,
betcha.
you guys, please get your pens and papers because I got several announcements to share with you. Um, and you're going to want to write these down so you'll be able to get in on several things. First one is that our gathering in Allen, Texas, which you fly into DFW, is rapidly approaching. It's July 25th and 26th, and it is the event of the year. You want to be there. You'll get to meet the scientific advisory board members, and the longer you wait to register, the more it costs because every few months it bumps up. So you want to get in on early bird. So please get registered for that right away. Right away. It's a critically important event. And people love hearing scientific advisory board members there and meeting the company owners and so on. Second, we had the wellness kickoff last week, and they are working on editing that. And so as soon as we get that, we can share that event with other people. So that is coming soon. Lastly, I want to tell you a story before we bring on Joel and Gabby. Daniel, do I just hit share screen? Is that what I need to do to show a PowerPoint picture?
Yep, that's exactly correct.
Okay. So let's see here. I think I hit this here, and okay. Let's see here. Um, I was able to go to a conference last week and got to meet some remarkable people there. And this is a picture I need to show you guys because we have some exciting things coming. See, this lady here, she spoke at the conference, and this is her first picture. And then I'm going to show you another picture that was 6.5 weeks later. And I'll tell you her story. She had terminal liver and pancreatic cancer. And she had one tumor the size of a Nerf football, one tumor the size of baseball, four tumors the size of golf balls, and both her legs were almost as big as telephone poles, just massive. And so she has horrific stretch marks on her legs because they were both so enormous. The skin stretched tighter than a drum, and her belly the same. And the doctor said there's nothing that can be done. She's terminal.
Bob,
Yeah.
what you have on the screen for us is it says sponsored new people in January. That's all we've got.
Oh my goodness. I've got let's see here. I wonder what's wrong here because I've got her on my screen. She's up here. Thank you for telling me, Rick. Let's see here. So you guys can't see Tiffany's picture right now? Okay, I guess I better get out of this then. See if I can change this at all. Can you see her picture now, Rick?
No, as a matter of fact, you're just one little bitty thing up above where the thing. You're not even in a share screen. You're in one big, it basically looks like your computer as far as your sponsorships. You and Daniel and Stephanie and Robert, Royce, Mary, Joe,
Okay.
Natalie, and Laura.
See if thanks for telling me. Okay. I thought this was all set up and ready. Okay, I'm just gonna have to tell you her story then.
So Bob,
Yeah,
you can exit screen share like you just did,
okay,
and then choose share screen again, and it will bring up all the windows on your computer. You have to choose the one that you want to show to us, the one with the pictures of her,
okay.
and it will show us that window on your computer because it only shows the one on screen share that you choose when it brings up that preview.
Okay. See if I can do this. I wonder if thanks for helping me out, Daniel. I'll see if I can get this to open now. Now, Daniel, I have my PowerPoint open now, but I can't see the share screen anywhere.
Okay. If you go back to Zoom,
Okay, now
you should see share screen. Choose that, and it'll bring up a preview of all the windows that are open on your computer.
okay.
You want to click on the one that you want to show us, and then
Okay.
choose share screen. So right now it's showing your browser.
Right.
So you want to try going to PowerPoint.
Okay. Okay, I've got power. Oh, okay. I think maybe I
So
know.
choose share screen, and then when it brings up the preview windows of what you're about to share, click on the one showing PowerPoint and then choose to share it with us.
Okay, well, I have to have PowerPoint open first, don't I?
No.
I don't?
I mean, yes, it has to be open on your computer, but it doesn't have to be showing on your screen. You can be in Zoom, choose share screen, and then in the little preview windows, choose the one for PowerPoint, and that's what it will show us.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yep, we can see it now. Good job.
Okay, good. Thank you. So this lady here, you guys, when she found out about NeoLife, she was so weak that she couldn't get in her pickup truck. She I'm trying to find how I can make this larger. Can you see her picture in the upper left? Okay. Let's see here. And she couldn't lift a pillow. She couldn't lift a glass of water. And she met a NeoLifer. I'm not going to say the guy's name right now, but there's a guy in the booth right behind her in a restaurant. She was just there with her husband trying to have a nice farewell dinner because she was terminal and almost all their money was gone from all the medical treatments. And I still can't, everything's in the way, so I can't enlarge her picture. I don't know what's wrong with my, anyway, so you guys can just see her picture on at the upper, the top one. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, you've got her top picture enlarged on to your, I'd say your left or to your right. And then below it is another picture of her, I think. She looks up more healthy than the picture that you're showing me.
Yeah, those, in any case, those pictures are only, I can't access it. I don't know what's wrong. But those pictures are only 6.5 weeks apart, you guys.
Wow.
And her weight is all gone now. Her legs are normal size. She has horrific stretch marks because the skin was just tight as a drum. And her tumors are 40% gone. So she's approaching 50% mark. Is that amazing, you guys? Because the doctor said nothing could be done.
Yeah, could you click on the bottom picture of her so it would enlarge the one up right below the top one? Oops, she went off.
Yeah. What I can't do, I don't know what's wrong here. I can't enlarge her. There's a bar in the way. I'm not sure how to get rid of it
There, whoops.
so that I can access all my controls are blocked, Daniel, because I have the Zoom call is pictures are across my control thing.
Mm.
You
I've never.
should be able, Bob, to drag and drop that little button bar. If you just click it and drag it up higher, it'll move out of your way. And then
Really?
you can see the buttons on the bottom of the PowerPoint. Just try not to click any buttons while you do it. Kind of grab the edge of it and move it.
Okay.
Did that work?
Well, let's see here. What do I grab?
If it's the gray Zoom buttons bar, you should be able to just grab the edge of it, click and hold it, and drag it out of your way.
Okay, good, wonderful. Thank
Now
you.
you can hit the PowerPoint. Yep.
Okay, thanks. So now you can see a close up. So that's how she looked when she started. And this is 6.5 weeks later.
There you go. Wow.
Not shocking, you guys.
It looks wonderful.
Right. So
That
I
is
think
amazing. Did you
Yeah.
say liver cancer, Bob?
liver and pancreatic.
And pancreatic.
And her
Wow.
husband was so hostile to the person that it was God to the max, because she was there at the fanciest restaurant in New Orleans, magnificent view over this lake, the most beautiful restaurant in that city. And there was a NeoLife person there that was there that night because it was their 39th wedding anniversary. So he took his wife to the nicest restaurant in New Orleans, and they just so happened to have the table right next to this couple that the wife was on her deathbed.
Only the Lord, huh?
Yeah, just a coincidence, you know. So the husband of this lady was so hostile. He called the NeoLife person not a very respectful name, and he told his wife, "I'm going to go get this certain drink, and then I'm going to the restroom, and when I get back, that guy better be gone." And she called a nasty name. He called the guy a nasty name, and then so the guy worked really fast, got her contact information and address and phone number. And about 3 days later, she got home with her husband to their house. And she says, "Oh, there's the box." And the husband says, "What box?" She said, "That's the box the guy sent me with the vitamins." And the husband says, "You gave him our address?" She said, "Yeah, I gave him our phone number too." What? So in the box, he'd sent her probably $800 or $900 worth of product for free with handwritten notes, how to take everything. And this is her 6.5 weeks later.
Oh,
And I don't know the exact timing. I talked to her for about 30 minutes after the seminar. And the tumors are 40% gone. And you know, the biggest one was about this big, like a Nerf football, one the size of a baseball, four the size of golf balls. So, I mean, it is thrilling. And at this conference, this is the announcement, and then we'll go to Joel and Gabby. On Tuesday, please write this down. Tuesday at 9 a.m., we're going to have a training, and please write this Zoom ID down. It's 963-644-1807. And the password is ATP. It's all lowercase. And there's two things that are going to happen Tuesday at 9. One is there's going to be a 1-hour training. I think Joel and Gabby saw it already with Eric Worre. It's a replay from the meeting he did for free for Alan Blaine. And so the two parts of this meeting on Tuesday it's going to give you all of us pretty much one of our main goals is to impact more people. You talk to anyone, they say, yeah, I want to help more people. So the first hour is going to be on the skills that we need to acquire, the abilities we need to acquire in order to reach more people. Instead of 1 or 2 or 3 people, how to reach hundreds. He'll cover skill sets and mindsets that we need to have, or we're not going to reach 10 people even, or 20 people. So that's the first part. Then the second part, I'm going to give you more details on what this lady took. I'll give you more skills on what this lady, more info on what she took. Then you're going to hear an amazing dementia story comeback from a guy that had about 0 brain activity. And now he's fully conversant, and with only a few months, fully conversant. And then you're going to hear a pastor's story who went camping in Arkansas, and he woke up completely covered with ticks.
Oh,
The blood work shows 8 different types of Lyme disease.
wow.
And you guys know Lyme's can really take you out. Well, this guy's like a jumping bean now. I met him at this conference. He's a pastor, and he is overflowing with energy. So you'll hear some of his story. You'll hear an OCD story that this kid was found on the side of the highway wearing nothing but a diaper, 2.5 years old, completely filthy. And the police brought this kid to this couple who adopted him. And they think the mother was most likely on meth because he has 5 diagnosed mental issues like Tourette's, obsessive compulsive disorder, 5 different ones. And the kid was just driving them out of their minds. Well, they found out about some products to get on through NeoLife. And in about 3 days, that kid is a completely different person. And then you'll hear a little bit of IBS and a little bit of stage 5 kidney failure, because we're working on a conference with some of these testimonies, which is going to be thrilling. So I just want you to know, Tuesday, there's 2 parts, 9 a.m. You got it's 963-644-1807, password ATP, all lowercase password. And those are the 2 things they're going to hear. First, the skill set, how to develop so that we can impact way more people with the benefits of our products. And then you'll hear more detail on these testimonies from people that I was blessed to meet at that event. So that's what's coming up. And right now we are ultra mega blessed to have Gabby and Joel with us. And they are an extremely talented, wonderful, fantastic couple. Super kind to come on the call to help our team. They've helped many people experience improved health. They're leaders in their church. They have homeschooled 5 beautiful children. They have remarkable, incredible skills for helping people learn the benefits of our products, because we know the benefits are incredible, but not everyone has the ability to introduce more people to them. But Joel and Gabby do. They've helped enough people to get all their products for free, and they've experienced shocking benefits and improvements in their health, because I know their story. Both of them have incredible story, which you'll hear shortly. And I just want you to know there's 2 parts. They'll be sharing their story. And if that's all you want to hear, you want to drop off when they're done sharing their stories, because then they're going to share some of the things they did to effectively introduce people to the benefits that we can provide for their health. So there'll be 2 parts. They'll tell their amazing story: weight loss, IBS, eczema, tons of headaches, all this. And then they're going to switch to help those of us who want to reach more people. And they're going to share some of the ideas and skills they use to introduce people to the benefits of our product. So with that, we're really super grateful to Joel and Gabby, because they're not in our team. So this is just the kindness of their heart. They're willing to help us out. So you guys, let's give a big welcome to Joel and Gabby Merritt.
Yes.
Hey, thank you, Bob. Thanks again. Thank you, guys. We see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of familiar friends, and it's funny you say we're not on the same team, but it just feels like we all are anyway. So we really are.
Okay.
So I'll let, let's see. Hey, Bob,
Yes.
can you maybe stop sharing your screen?
Yeah.
We can,
I wasn't
all right.
sure what I need to
There
do.
we go.
Okay.
There we go.
All right,
All
good.
right, I'm gonna let Gabby go. This is my wife, Gabby. I think most of you know her, but if you don't, you should, and you'll get to know her better. She's gonna start out and tell how we got introduced to the products and how this all started out for us.
Yes, so my name is Gabby. I see a lot of familiar faces and just appreciate Bob asking us to be on. My story, thinking back over my childhood, I struggled with, let's see, I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget, but headaches. When my family would joke with, they're like, oh, I bet Gabby has a headache, and I always say my head hurts or my stomach hurts, or just for no reason, that I knew of. I had eczema. Really bad on the backs of my legs, and I had like I can't remember what dermatologists call it, but like the bumps on the back of your arms, and like acne on my back. It was just weird, and we know that that is digestive now. And exaggerated PMS, all the way from 13 up until I found NeoLife. And I think for me, I thought a lot of those issues were normal, and I think they are normal in that a lot of people struggle with them. I never once thought about like, how can I take care of this? I was raised by a mom that was very health minded long before it was cool. And I remember standing at the kitchen at the refrigerator, and she would give us spoonfuls of cod liver oil and vitamin C. And I think back in the day, she used Shackley. So it was like the big vitamin, or the big, C vitamins that were chewable. And I never remember sitting in the doctor's office, in the pediatrician's office. And so whatever she did definitely helped us be healthy. But as I got older, these other issues kind of, crept up, and I'm one of 5. So I think it wasn't like, I'm number 4. So it wasn't like we were diving into what was wrong with me. Those were just normal symptoms of life. Right. So fast forward to Joel and I got married, and well, let me back up a teeny bit, only because I remember in my teenage years, my mom and my grandma had suffered from well, what we now is postpartum depression, but she had, depression, she had dentures, she had osteoporosis. She just had a lot of issues that seemed like she was falling apart at an early age. And I remember asking my mom, which now I know looking back was definitely the Lord just planted that seed in my heart. She said, grandma's had 6 kids. It takes a lot out of you to have pregnancies and multiple pregnancies. And if you're not boosting, your body with these nutrients, like, you're going to wind up depleted. And a lot of those issues can be caused from depletion. And so I think I just put that away in my head, and I moved on. And so Joel and I started talking about having a family, and we talked about wanting, 5 or 6 kids or whatever the Lord wanted to give us. But I told him, I said, hold on, I don't, I watched my grandma fall apart, and I don't want to fall apart at an early age if I don't have to. And so I would like to find some really good supplements that can support my body. So almost a year into our marriage, my sister, Micah Stinnett, who Dwight had shared with, called me one day and was like, oh my word, just rattled on and off. And all I hear is Trianon and grain concentrates and all this stuff. And I was like, this all made sense to me. She's explaining about the cell. And so long story. So Dwight came and did a presentation for us. That was April of we got married in 2022. So April of 23, we got married in May. He came and shared with us. Joel did research, and he said, I think this is fine, for you to take. It sounds like it's pretty legit, whatever. So fast forward to amazing pregnancies and all of that. Well, right before that, I did have kidney stones and gout. So that was something that I was like, hold on, I really need to figure out what my body's doing. So I was able to take care of those kind of issues before that. So anyways, all that to say that I've had 5 amazing pregnancies, super healthy kids. It's my job basically to keep my family healthy, I feel, and we're rarely sick, praise the Lord. And we take a wide range of products, and Bob's right. Like, we've gotten our health packs for free for 7 or 8 years, or however long that's been, which has been a huge blessing for our family. And so with the business side of it, because I was going to share business, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I had always had a heart for health and kind of maybe seeing what I'd been through and what other people had been through. And so I was able to help people with their health. Back in the day, you were just a distributor. So just, we would help people and they would order product from us or they would sign up, get it to their house. Um, Meanwhile, always really wanting to do it as a business. But Joel will share his story, and that didn't happen for quite a few years. I prayed about it, and just we needed to be on the same page about that. So, but the Lord answered that prayer. But I would say, as far as when it came to finally, when we were starting to do our business, it really was. I would say for me, it was just caring. It starts with caring about people, right? And I don't know one person that doesn't do NeoLife or even if it fell into their lap as a business that doesn't truly care about people. And so my heart for other people, I looked around and I was like, wait, I've dealt with that. I've struggled with that. And then, we back in the day, we had, our team had the turnkey track. From our upline. And so I would just read through and I would print off pieces of paper of people's testimonies. And I would, when I would hear someone that had that issue, I would share it with them, And so I think that a big part of, just growing any business is caring about people. And I was talking to Bob about, there's been highs and lows and everybody has those in their business. We've had people that hit director in 8 months and then a month or two later, they're back down to 200 PV a month, and there's no way of explaining that. But you just know that the Lord is in control. And something that we did early on was we dedicated our business to the Lord. So we were like, Lord, and even today I say like, Lord, whoever you want me to run into or share with. And I think about like, I love that story, Bob, about the person, in the seat behind that lady. Like God puts us in these positions. And I think it was Susan Adams that was behind someone in line, if I remember right. It was
Yep.
Liz.
Yeah. Liz. Yeah. Liz Moore.
Liz Moore, here she, is just standing in line in a cafeteria or something and overhears Liz talking to someone else about her Lyme's and needing, not doing well. And so I just think about the more that I'm attentive to hearing the needs of people, I am able to talk to them. And not everyone is receptive, right? That's a crazy story. Like I love that story where he was just like, here, I think that Louis Smith, like someone just was like, take these products and then just following up. Have you taken these products? Because we know what these products do. And the stories never, Bob, you're full of stories. And I absolutely like stories sell, and the minute that someone shares that they have, I have a mom right now whose son has eczema. Really bad and now has MRSA spots and she's not on product yet, but I've gotten her all this information and she's like, oh, he's already taking garlic, he's taking these things. I follow up with her, she's like, he still hasn't seen any improvement. And I'm like, do you think maybe your products aren't working? And so anyway, she's super close to trying NeoLife, but it really is caring about people. I pray for her son. And, when I tell someone I'm going to pray for them, I genuinely really want to, because we know that God can heal them with or without NeoLife, right? So, but the amazing things that we've seen with NeoLife. So I feel like I don't know. They say the only way to fail in this business is to quit. And I don't know if it's the fighter in me or not, but I'm like, we have gold and we have to share it with people. I feel compelled to open my mouth most of the time just because I'm like, I can't sit there and, just not give them, hope. And so same as if if someone needs the Lord, I'm going to share that with them because I don't want them to go anywhere else but heaven. So anyways, that's kind of my end of the story. Joel will kind of finish up with his, how we started building, right?
Before Joel goes, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that garlic can kill the MRSA?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I have a customer, also a little boy. He probably would have died of MRSA because every time he went off the antibiotics, which cost like around $500 a week, the MRSA would come back. And thousands, up to 19,000 people die per year in the US from MRSA. Thousands. And this mom comes in, she asked me all these questions about our garlic. I didn't even know what MRSA was back then. And she comes in, I'm so proud of her because, doctors, you say, oh, well, bury the kid, he's dead. You know, all he got is the stupid antibiotics, and it wasn't working because it come back every time. And so she, all on her own, she does the research. She finds our garlic. She puts them on it. It's all gone. I mean, it could have killed him. And this mom had the guts and the brains to do the research herself, find this thing that costs like 24 cents per tablet. It saves her son. Is that cool?
It's so cool. And I shared that story with her, which is crazy, but they're, you know, it's like one of those things, they're working with a functional medicine doctor, and, you know, they have him on this like fungus antibiotic or something. Anyways, they have him on an antibiotic and all these other things aren't working. And I said, I was like, you know, well, I shared garlic with her. Well, the next time I followed up with her, she said, well, the functional medicine doctor went ahead and got him going on garlic. I'm like, did I just give you that idea? Like, you know, but I mean, he's been on garlic this whole, so he's on garlic and an antibiotic and a probiotic, all it, you know, and I was like, oh goodness. So anyways, but again, it is caring about people. Like Joel, sometimes he's like, I don't know if I have the bandwidth for that. And I'm like, you just have to keep talking to people, keep following up with them, checking in on them, loving on them, praying for them. And yeah, but so I did share that story with her. That story is amazing. So I am hoping that she finally just buys the garlic. I mean, I'm super close to just sending her a couple boxes, but again, I want her to be like, I want her to actually take them, give them to him. So.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I remember you told me before, you know, a few weeks ago that you had lots of headaches all the time, and the PMS and the eczema most of your life. Is that right?
Yeah.
Can you just briefly tell us the things that are most important for each of those? And everyone can be taking notes. Like for headaches, do you have an idea what was the most, like, do you get headaches much anymore?
Not as much. I mean, if I wake up like I slept on my neck wrong or something like that, you know, but not just chronic headaches to where I can't function by any means. I started on the Pro Vitality back in the day and extra salmon, and I feel like that was huge. You know, obviously the inflammation of the brain was a really big deal. They never completely went away, but when we started, both of us had headaches, and we both, you know, found relief from the headaches in the early years. But then like when I'd get pregnant, I knew that like I didn't get morning sickness the first trimester, but I would get headaches, just like the constant headache that never went away. So then I was like, well, this might be hormone related, you know, and so I've just kind of done different things over the years. And I do feel like the bees help too. I take a couple of bees, the Pro Vitality, and then the shake. The shake is huge. And I think I never realized. And when I would tell my mom, like my stomach hurts or I have a headache, I would realize that I haven't had either protein or my blood sugar's low. I've never been diagnosed with anything because I don't really have a need to go to the doctor other than that. But I did have a brain scan done by a neurologist because Joel was, you know, like, what if you have a brain tumor? It runs in your family. And everything was clear, and the doctor was like, I have no idea why you're having these migraines. He's like, or these headaches, because he's like, your blood work looks perfect, you know, and everything. And in between the time that I went and had the MRI and the time that he read it, my headaches had almost completely like really gone away. And I started drinking shake because Joel, we were starting to get our 3 for free. And so I could actually afford the shake. This was back, you know, however, 7, 8 years ago. And so anyways, I told him, I said, I think it's low blood sugar that's been causing these a lot of times, you know, and so I'll kind of get like hangry or whatever a little bit. I'll tell Joel I need to eat something, and then the Elevate has helped too. I've noticed if for some reason, like I feel like my blood sugar is kind of low and I've already had a shake or something like that. So I would say those. I mean, I take a lot of other products, but those are what I feel have really helped.
Okay. And what about the PMS and then the eczema? What would be the most, like if someone had really bad PMS, what would you tell them would be important to go on?
Pro Vitality for sure, and CalMag. CalMag is supposed to be super helpful for PMS symptoms.
Okay.
And then, I mean, that really was what did it for me. The extra salmon, the Pro Vitality, and the CalMag. I started with that, and I feel like that. I mean, from the time that I started taking NeoLife, I have not had any PMS symptoms since then. So, like 23 years, I have not had cramps. I don't even know like when I'm going to start, just because, and before I would know like 3-4 days building up, you know. So that was a very basic program that I was on that helped with those. So
Did Joel's PMS go away too?
Yeah.
Okay, his life was happier now. Okay, so Pro Vitality, CalMag, and how much extra salmon oil?
2 extra salmon oil, so 3 total.
Okay,
Yeah.
not very much. And then what about eczema? Because that's really hard to get rid of, I've heard.
It is, but I do have an eczema story of our son, and it's quite amazing. One day he woke up. He was 1, and he woke up with just scaly, like from scalp to toe, and he's a toad head. So I mean, it was like you could just like scratch it off, like it was all over his cheeks, all over his face, front, everywhere. And so I was like, that's weird. So I stopped giving him eggs. I stopped giving him, dairy for like the week, just kind of trying to see nothing. And so I took him to the dermatologist, and whatever eczema has that professional name, he gave it that name, and he said, there's really not a whole lot you can do about it, but just, keep him moist, like don't give him too many baths, and just rub Eucerin all over him. And I was like, well, I know enough to know I'm not putting saran wrap and mineral oil all over my baby, right? So at the time he was on Liquivite. And I would give him a salmon every once in a while as I remembered, because I'd have to squeeze it and all that. So I started giving him acidophilus, and I would just give him a spoonful. So he was 1, so I'd give him a spoonful of applesauce and just poke it in there, give it to him. And I bought some bench soap, and I did the oatmeal baths, and I gave him a bath every single night with that oatmeal bath. And I would just put him back, and I would just, for 15 minutes, I would make sure it got all over his body. I would cover his eyes with the towel, and then I would rub him down with the unscented lotion. And within a week or 2, I mean, for sure in less than 2 weeks, he was completely cleared up, and he's never had it since.
That's so
So
amazing.
yeah, so it is, I mean, it is digestive related. When I think of when I was little, my stomach always hurt, and then I had all like the bumps and different things. It was not just eczema. I'm like, that was all gut related, even though I'd never been on an antibiotic in my entire life at that point. Yeah, so I mean, gut health is huge. And I have another mom that I helped, and she did Liquivite and acidophilus. I don't even know if she did bench soap, but she did liquid, yeah, Liquivite and acidophilus, and it was completely gone. So for her baby within a couple weeks. So
What did the same thing help you, Gabby, as helped him? Like acidophilus, was that a big deal for because didn't you say you had eczema most of your life?
I did, and I don't remember exactly when the eczema went away. So it wasn't like right after I started taking Pro Vitality, but I do know that I've, like, over the course of the years, I've done many detoxes. So I'm guessing that the reset of the gut, it has to help, and then I take like 5 salmon oil, yeah, 5 to 6 a day anyways. And salmon oil is amazing for eczema also. I had someone, they started giving their little boy salmon oil capsules, and he just would chew them and eat them, and his eczema was reducing, and that was all he was doing. So obviously everyone's different, but the salmon's a big deal too. So I don't know, I drink shakes every day, so I know that the amino acids help with the digest. It's like, I don't know, I haven't struggled with it for years, or decades. So
And
yeah.
it was all over your body? Is that right?
It was all over my son's body. I had it more like behind my legs really bad, where it would itch, or on my calves.
Yeah.
And then sometimes on the back of my arms. And I think I even had like patches up on my cheeks, every once in a while I would get just like blotches, that itched. So
This is so amazing. I've heard this quite a few times, that the acidophilus helped the eczema. I thought it was just like treonine and salmon oil, but so there's a connection with gut, is what you're saying.
yeah, for sure.
Very amazing. Amazing. Well, Gabby, are you going to go off the products, or do you think you're going to stay on them?
I'm healed, I guess. So do I need them anymore? That's what people say. I will never go off NeoLife. No, we're NeoLifers for life.
That's awesome. Those are pretty big benefits. The PMS, the headaches, the eczema, that's huge.
Life-changing. And I think the part of my story is that I thought that was normal, and so I think that helps me too when I go to share with people. I'm like, they don't know that there's an option. I lived a lot of my life not knowing that you could actually not have PMS. I just thought it got worse. Or, people are like, oh, osteoporosis runs in my family, blood pressure runs in his. You'll hear his story. Like, it's not, there's so many things that we can do to be proactive about our health, that it doesn't have to run in my family.
Well, that's yeah, I think that's when you grow up with it, you think that's how it is. But
Yeah.
here your life is different now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. For sure.
Fantastic. Okay, you guys give a big hand. Thank you so much, Gabby. That's mega helpful.
You're
So
welcome.
Joel, tell us, you got quite a story too.
Oh boy. Well, I don't know why I always forget and let her go first, and I got to follow up with that. So
Whatever. We know your story.
So anyways, yeah, she touched on it a little bit. We were introduced to these products 22 years ago,
Almost 23
23
this
years
April.
ago, and she was adamant she was going to take something. I was like, yeah, be healthy, that's fine. I didn't want to spend any money on it, like I think everybody. I think everybody we run into, nobody wants to spend any money on anything, but
Well, we had no money to spend.
that was part of it too. Anyways. But when it was presented to us, I'm sitting there listening. It's like, this makes sense. It seems simple, and I've never heard it before. And so as good as the internet was back then, I did all the scouring of the internet, and I could find nothing negative. It was just all positive. I was like, you know what? If we're going to spend our money on this, and you really need this, and this is going to be a benefit to our family, like this would be the one to go with. And so we did. We started using the products. I started with the Formula 4. She started with the Formula 4 and some other stuff. But the headaches, that was something I struggled with. I would say the only real supplement I took before that was Excedrin. And I just kept it here in the pocket of my yeah, it was like every day. Well, I'd get it about 2 in the afternoon. As soon as I started on the Formula 4, the headaches were gone. That right there was crazy. And I didn't do anything else. Maybe hit and miss a little shake, but not really. Mostly just the Formula 4. Gabby was always wanting to share. She always cares about others. She just loves people. She loves to care for people. She saw the benefits. She wanted to help people, and she saw the value in the business. I also, when I heard the business presented as the model, I was like, that sounds pretty cool, and we started venturing out, right at the beginning with sharing the products, mostly Gabby, but I would share and tell my little testimony. But shortly after that, it was, this is a tough business to be in. It's a simple business, but it takes strength, fortitude. You just got to be mentally strong.
Not caring about what others think.
And yeah, exactly. Not worried about, how people are going to take it, or think of you when you're sharing this good product with them. So it didn't take very long before I had family and friends really pushing back. And so I said, Gabby, we're going to keep taking the product. That's not the thing. Just don't talk about it. I didn't like how I felt about everybody talking about me. And so that was my immaturity. That was my lack of growth, and that took 15 years for me to overcome. And in that process, I didn't really take any product. I would take the Formula 4 here and there, and I didn't struggle with and I really believe it was that Formula 4 that kept those headaches away. I don't struggle with headaches on a normal. When I get a headache, it's because I'm got COVID or something like that. Like something's killing me. But I just don't get headaches anymore, thank the Lord. But through those times, work started piling up, responsibilities started piling up, stress beyond, what everybody can imagine. Everybody deals with stress. All the things start taking over, and I really neglected my health. I didn't take care of myself. I ate whatever. I skipped breakfast. I didn't eat breakfast ever. A lot of times I skipped lunch, but if I did have lunch, I would get it at the mini mart, fried foods, and then I'd come home and I'd just eat 2 or 3 times what a person should eat for dinner. And I'd repeat every day. And it seemed, it didn't seem like a big deal at first, but as I got older and the metabolism slows down, I start putting on a lot of weight. And so from when I got married, I put on over 100 pounds, from before we were married till, 50, pretty short amount of time, so it's 5 years into marriage, I was pretty heavy. And I had tried losing weight multiple times. I've done, pretty much starved myself around on treadmills. I'd lose weight. But as soon as I was done with that, I'd put it all back on. Plus, I'd done the keto, lost 75 pounds on that. But my health would get worse. I'd get thinner and lighter. That would be it. But my health would always get worse. Wow. Every time Gabby's always encouraging me, Joel, why don't you try these NeoLife products? We have these at home. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that, And I had gotten so far out of the NeoLife deal, I would just pop my Formula 4s, and and just go on my way. But I didn't have that confidence in it. I wasn't plugged in. I was just doing my own thing. And I can add in here, because I think a lot of you know or maybe some of you know my story, but over all these years, that stress, and I was not walking with the Lord. I just walked my own path, and I walked away from him, and actually became an alcoholic. So I dealt with alcoholism for several years, which really took a major toll on my body on top of it all. And so coming all the way through that, and all these ultimately what I was struggling with was crazy. I'm well over 100 pounds overweight. I have IBS. I mean, I can't even eat anything without running to the bathroom. It didn't matter, constipation or diarrhea. It was crazy. Hemorrhoids. I had back pain since college. I had hip pain that started about 2 years before I started using the NeoLife products consistently, which was about 8 years ago. And my blood pressure was through the roof. Like, literally, I was on blood pressure medicine, and I was on an irregular heartbeat medicine. I had it would skip a beat pretty regularly, AFib, yeah. And so I was on, and my blood pressure, when they first diagnosed it, was in the emergency room, because I was having, ultimately they called it a panic attack, but my blood pressure was over 200. It was 200 and some 205 over 110. And they immediately put me on blood thinners, and they immediately prescribed me blood pressure medicine. And they say, you need to take this stuff. You need to find a doctor. You need to, do this. So I was on blood pressure medicine and this toprol for my irregular heartbeat for 8 years. And it was never really controlled, but the doctor would just tell me, well, I know your grandma. He treated my grandma, and so, actually several of my grandparents and my mom. And she's like, it's blood pressure runs in your family. This is just what you have to do. There was no mention of getting healthier. There was no mention of anything, any change of lifestyle. So much, just that, here, or let me adjust your medicine. And so I'm on these medicines. I'm struggling. What were the other things? I had all kinds of issues. I did
Insomnia.
Antidepressants?
well. So they tried to put me on anti-anxiety medications when I was in the emergency room, and Gabby put a stop to that. And so but honestly, like what I was doing, I was drinking, dealing with the anxiety and dealing with the depression. I just started drinking more, and so I was self-medicating in that regard. But I never took any medications for depression or
But he suffered from the depression,
But
and
I
then
did.
the anxiety was
I would
like
have, it was just, they
crippling.
go hand in hand. And so I'm struggling with all of this. I'm way overweight. I'm really upset with the way I look. I feel horrible, have no energy. And it's bad. It's just like, I didn't even, and I started having those thoughts, like I knew I wasn't long for this world. I knew that I just had this feeling like my kids are young, but I'm not going to see them get married. I just knew my health was that bad. And on top of it, I'm going my own direction. I'm not walking with the Lord, and I'm struggling with that. I got this war inside, and you fast forward through all of these things, and I had just lost a lot of weight on keto, and I had started eating, incorporating a little bit of carbs back into my diet, and I just ballooned back up. I put all this stuff, and I was really down, and I had worked really hard, and I was kind of at the end. And Gabby's like, Joel, and she's praying for me all these years. And she said, Joel, why don't you try, like, would you please try NeoLife? And at that point, I was wore out. I was like, sure. I was super reluctant to do it, but I did. I was like, whatever. I've tried all these other things. I might as well try that, and the Lord was really working on my heart, softening my heart. I had a lot of different, Oh, and one thing that I do want to point out, something, because it's so crazy. Since high school, I struggled with sinus infections, constant. I was on antibiotics at least 3 times a year because of these horrible infections. It's just blowing blood out my nose. I ultimately in college, I wound up having sinus surgery, which helped tremendously, but I still was like, if somebody had a cold, I got a sinus infection, and I was on antibiotics. And so that was constant every year. My ear, nose, and throat doctor was my general practitioner. Like, I would just go to him, and he'd fix me up. And so he was giving me decongestants, Sudafed, Mucinex, like all these different things I was on for all these years from high school until about 8 years ago. And and I then ultimately, and I did wound up having because of this drainage issue. I wound up having an ear surgery, a mastoiditis that they could not get rid of this infection, and all before NeoLife. And so I had my mastoid removed, and that took care of that issue. But I'm still getting these infections, and right around that time, shortly after that, is when I started using the products. I'm heavy, heavy, heavy. I'm sick, 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 and I start on the weight loss. Well, I start with a detox, 3-day detox. And what I noticed right then was I dropped like 7-8 pounds, like boom, in 3 days of just whatever. I was like, that's kind of motivating. I was like, okay, maybe this can work, And then I got on the weight loss pack and extra salmon oil because she knew I was struggling with the blood pressure. So I was taking 3 salmon oil, and is that about it at that point?
CalMag,
And some
maybe.
CalMag, but really the weight loss pack, and that was it. And I did that, and in the first month of being on that, I lost 25 pounds.
Wow.
And then in the first 3 months, after 3 months, I just noticed, and I'm continuing to lose weight, but after 3 months, that the hip pain that I developed a couple years before and the back pain that I'd been struggling with since college just subsided.
Wow.
Literally, I just noticed I'm not dealing with pain anymore. I'm like, whoa. And and so yeah, I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. I didn't know when it happened. It just happened about 3 months. And then 3 months after that, so 6 months total into this journey, my blood pressure is completely regulated. I don't struggle with the irregular heartbeat, the AFib any longer. And so I'm off of those medications.
Oh my
And
goodness.
no medications. The IBS is now gone away. My bowels, everything, my system's all normalized. I'm still losing weight. I'm feeling incredible. Oh yeah, and within that first 30 days, I noticed a huge boost in energy, like energy that I hadn't had in years and years and years. And I was like, whoa, it's like a new lease on life. So then and so all of that to say, at that point, people are asking like, hey, like, what are you doing? They know me as fat and sick and slow and all these things. Like, what are you doing? And I'm now a believer in the products, and I'm telling Gabby like, hey, Gabby, we need to tell people about these products, and she's just shaking her head like all these years,
Thought it was his idea.
it was, yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I'm like, yeah, we need to share. And so we commit that year, almost 8 years ago. We're like, yeah, we're gonna build this product. By that time, because of the alcoholism, because of hurt relationship, because of a lot of changes in life, like I really didn't care what people thought anymore. That was a big change. And it sounds like, who cares? Who cares? Like we can help people with this. I don't care what people, think. And I'm just like, we're gonna help people with this. And so, and anyways, so we committed to doing that. And then the Lord, like within months of that, the Lord says, hey, I'm moving you. And I farmed up until then. And he moved us out of the state of California all the way out to Indiana. Had no idea what I was going to do for employment or career. Yeah, I knew it was not going to be farming because he was moving me out of that. And that's a whole nother story. But we moved here with this brand new little baby business that wasn't making any money, maybe a little 3 for free. And I'm like, well, we have this little business. Let's go build it in Indiana. And we moved here.
It's without a doubt. You are the next president in Zambia. Guys, you need to know this, that in Zambia, they don't have a warehouse. They don't have a distributor center. Right. And her team, they are getting products from other neighboring country. That is good.
Hey, Daniel, are we? Oh, good. Thank you.
Thank you. We're able to do that. Okay, cool. So we moved here to Indiana, and we're just starting out, making very little. I wound up working with my father-in-law in the automotive to get started, and we're working our business. We're trusting our upline. We're doing everything that they tell us to do. And so after hours, inviting people, sharing with them these products, these amazing products, and our testimonies. And we just watched the Lord build month after month after month. It was like another $100, another $100. Just these checks started growing. And within a year and a half or so, we had built to a world team size business. And, in a couple of years, we were world team sapphire size business, doing over almost 2 Ruby volume. And so it just blew up, and it was amazing. So that is my testimony where it comes to the health, and there's so many things, but it was just this product, this company has been a tremendous benefit to our family, help, and just to our walk, to our lives, to our children, to everything, and the community that comes with it is just incredible. We love it. But you know, at that point, we have this successful business, and we are it's easy to get maybe complacent, or these other things in life, you know, with children as they get older. We were trying to figure out what to do, so we brought them home from public school and started homeschooling. We had never done that before. That really changed our lives, turned everything upside down. So we're trying to refigure and reconfigure how
All good things.
these are all good things. And leading discipleship groups, and our business, the automotive business, is just blown up into multiple locations. We never expected that, where it started at just one single little location. So a lot of responsibilities are happening, and we noticed, you know, our NeoLife business started to shrink. I mean, it's still amazing, it's still providing, but we're talking to our upline, like, what's going on? You know, we're talking to people, kind of, we're doing this, and they're saying, hey, are you reaching out like you were? Are you using the product? We're like, well, yeah, we're not going to quit using the products. It's transformed our lives. Like, that's not going anywhere. This is, well, are you telling people about it? It's like, well, yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah. You know, when we have time, we had backed way off from sharing. We backed way off from inviting. We backed way off. Like, are you growing as people doing the daily three whatever, are you reading, are you growing your minds, are you strengthening yourselves? Like, kind of, a little bit when we have time. Are you? And they're like, dude, you need to get back to the basics. Like, you need to be sharing, you need to be inviting, you need to be doing this stuff, and you need to make it happen, and you need to find a way to fit that into your everyday stuff. And so it took some time of trying to rationalize and reason and figure it out, and we got back to the basics. We started doing these things, and that was the second part of, after this, that I want to get into, of what we do on a daily basis, and what was successful when we saw our business start to shrink, and how we revitalized it and just got it growing again, and why this business is amazing. It doesn't matter what your story is. It doesn't matter what your skill set is. It doesn't matter, like, who you are, extrovert, introvert. None of that matters. If you are consistent and do what we're going to talk about, you can build this business. Everybody can build. Anybody that you're sharing with can build it, because it's not dependent on what family you're born into or what kind of health you have. It's not dependent on any of it. So at any point, I can go into that presentation, but I'll give it over to you, Bob, if you have any questions.
Okay, well, several. One is, you're saying it's not really personality dependent if you just do certain things. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
We don't have to worry if I'm introverted, extroverted, if I'm socially comfortable, if I'm dynamic, I'm charismatic. None of that's really an issue. Okay, that's
absolutely not.
That is so encouraging. But before we switch to that, which I'm really eager to hear, because that'll help all of us, I just want to ask you, kind of corny question, of course, but you don't miss taking your multivitamin Excedrin? You don't miss that?
Yeah, no, I hate taking that stuff. You know what? I think I have taken it one time in the last 8 years, and my brother-in-law had some, and I was having this headache at work, and like I say, I never get it, and it just kind of shuts me down. He's like, here's some Excedrin. I took it, and it gave me the jitters, the caffeine in there. I was like, I'm done. I'm never taking that stuff again. So no, I absolutely do not miss the Excedrin.
And you don't miss having, I remember I heard you say you had no energy. That's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it just sucks the life out of you. You got no drive. It really affects your emotional state. I mean, and I know that the energy and that lack of drive, or depression, I think it all was kind of a blurry area, but no, it's changed everything.
Well, and then you said 25 pounds the first month, and then after 6 months, you said the blood pressure was fine, that the hip pain, the back pain, the IBS, the AFib, all gone.
All of it gone. And I haven't since I started on these products 8 years ago and been consistent. I haven't been on an antibiotic since then.
Man, you think about that, they'll treat you for decades for the hip pain, the back pain, the AFib, the IBS, and the high blood pressure for decades, right? They'll treat
Yeah.
for decades. And that's
Yeah.
yours is gone, and you took off 100 pounds and it's been off for 6 or 7 years. Is that right, Joel?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And here's this is a little extra on the back pain. So I didn't know I had this back pain since college, and I had no idea why. You know, you just work and like, we kind of, my family has back troubles, it seems like. And then it goes away when I start using the NeoLife products. Well, it wasn't until I moved here and I had an issue with my shoulder because we're crawling under cars and stuff. And so I kept telling guy, I was like, give me a chiropractor to go to. I need an adjustment, you know? So I go in there and he takes the first time anybody ever took a x-ray of my back. And I'm in there for this, like, for him to adjust my shoulder and my upper back or whatever to loosen it up. And he's looking at me, he's like, look at this. Like he said, my L4, L5 disc is degenerated to like half the thickness of the rest of my disc. He says, and I said, well, it hurts up here. This is what I'm concerned about. He says, you need to be concerned about that down there. And he says, that doesn't hurt? I said, no. I said, and he's blown away. He's blown away that it doesn't hurt and it's not causing me like chronic issues. I said, but to be honest, it hurt for 20 years, you know. it hurt for a long, long time up until I started using these products. And the pain went away. So I have a mechanical problem in my lower back that is what it is, but I don't suffer from the back pain like I did forever. And thank you. I truly believe that salmon oil is incredible. Yeah, and the full motion as well.
Yeah.
How much salmon oil and full motion do you take?
I take the 3 full motion, the normal dosage, and the salmon oil
5.
5.
Okay. Well, I'm just blown away. I mean, 100 pounds for 6 or 7 years gone. The hip pain, the back pain, the IBS, the AFib, and the blood pressure. That's amazing. And your energy is really good, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm good.
That is amazing. Jamie or Jamie, you got a question you want to ask Joel or Gabby, and then we'll have Joel switch and to DMO, which is really helpful for us on what we should do. Or Kevin or Jamie or Susan. Do any of you want to ask him a quick question before we switch to that? Because we got just real quick. Any of you want to ask him? Okay, well then let's switch Joel to DMO, things that we should be doing, which we got about 12 minutes.
Yeah. I will make this quick. Oh, sorry. No, to show you. I just gotta get control of the command center here. Let me switch over, or I'll switch over here in a sec. So normally I would ask, or I've asked before, it says, we started talking about like this business isn't dependent on if you're extrovert or introvert. Like I am an introvert. I am through and through. I'm good with myself. I'm good in a room. I'm good by myself, and I'm energized with quiet. And I see Gabby, she loves people. She loves to be around people, and she's encouraged by people, and she's encourages a lot of people. And I'm thinking, man, that's why, those people have an advantage. I'm saying that, and I'm saying that to justify, why I may or may not be able to grow this business, or this person. These are all thoughts that I've had, and maybe you've had them. I imagine you have. Like, well, that person, their posts on Facebook are so amazing, or Instagram. They're so good at wording things. They have a lot of followers. They're going to blow this. I wish I could do that. They're going to blow this business up. Or maybe it's the person that is just so scientific. They've memorized every product and they know how to explain all the science up and down. And I tried to do that at the very beginning. I remember sitting in bed and like, we're going to build this business. I'm reading all these products. I'm telling guys like, man, we got to know these and answer every question and whatever. And that's going to be what grows your business. And the list goes on. And I just want to let you guys know that it's none of that. Now, all those things are good. They're not bad. And if you have the ability to know the products, and we need to know the products that we're sharing with people, if you have the ability to memorize things and really understand them, do it. Don't throw it away. That's a gift. That's a talent. If you're really good with people and you're excited and you can just like walk into a room and start, working the room and talking to everybody and introducing and making all kinds of friends, take advantage of that. The Lord has gifted you in that area. That's fantastic. All these things, if you're good on social media, don't quit, use it to your advantage. Those are good things. But when you're sharing with people and you're sharing the business opportunity with people in particular, they're going to have those same limiting beliefs. They're going to look at you and they're going to say, well, you can build it because I see how good you are on social media, or you might be able to do it because you got a background, you're a nurse or functional medicine or a doctor, or, you got a great testimony. You lost 100 pounds, that's what people say. And you're like, no, you can build this business too. Every one of you can build this business, and every one of the people that you share with can build the business because of what I'm going to share with you today, because it's not about those things. Now, can we improve in those things? Absolutely. That's where personal development comes in. We can improve, and we should, in all the areas that I'm going to talk about. But this business, anyone can do, anyone that's willing to do the work and grow and learn and use the products. So what we're going to talk about today is our daily method of operation. And this is what helped us here. Let me get this screen, helped us come back and figure out how this works when life, throws you a curveball, when everything changes for you. Let me share this. And then we will do this. And we won't go there. All right. So hopefully you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. All right. Awesome. What we're going to talk about today is our daily method of operation. And this is what we need to understand. This for lack of a better term, this is, we hear all these different things. We learn how to do all these different methods, but this is like the secret. If there was a secret, this is kind of like that secret sauce of how you can be successful and how anybody can be successful in this, no matter what their background and skill set are. The daily method of operation. So what is the DMO? The daily method of operation is a set of specific tasks performed consistently every day. These tasks drive your business forward and they keep it growing. The beauty of a DMO is in its simplicity and in its consistency. It's not about doing a whole bunch at once. It's about doing just a bit every single day. And so why do we need a DMO? For one, why does it do that? There we go. Why do we need a DMO? Success in the direct sales industry is rooted in consistent, everyday activities. When repeated over time, these small, seemingly insignificant tasks can result in exponential growth. Implementing a DMO promotes discipline, delivering ongoing improvement and growth. It also provides clarity. You know what needs to be accomplished each day, reducing wasted time and ensuring your tasks align with your goals. So what does the DMO look like? And this is important. Number one, you have to be a product of the product. We have amazing products. I mean, you've heard Gabby's testimony, you've heard my testimony. You guys have your own testimonies, and I know with Bob on the call, he has testimonies for ages and ages and ages. So you guys are witnesses of so many fantastic testimonies. But these products are incredible. There is absolutely no reason not to be on these products, and you're the walking billboard. You are generally the first interaction with people and their witness of how effective these products are, and not just the products, but how effective the business is. So you need to be committed to using the products. And since we are in the health and wellness industry, I include in using the products is add exercise to your daily method of operation. Just incorporate in there, but you need to be a product of the product. You need to be succeeding with the product. And that doesn't mean that you've arrived and you're already there, but invite people in. You'll be able to invite people into your journey on these products that you are having success. So that's super important. Number two, prospecting. This business is a people business. We have to be sharing, we have to be connecting, we have to be making new friends. And I know this is one of the toughest aspects, because, you know, like us, we didn't quit using the products, but we did pull way back, slow down with the prospecting, for all various reasons, you know, whether it's time, or we're not getting out in the groups that we were, or, you know, just different things. But we can't stop prospecting. This business is all about meeting new people, making new friends, and, you know, growing. And this is where we do have to grow, because sometimes it's really easy for Gabby to introduce herself and make new friends much more easily than I'm driven to do that. But I have to make a choice and do that. So prospecting includes sending texts out, making phone calls, or if you're involved in social media, you know, making your posts on a regular basis, always engaging with people's comments, sending out emails, sending out invitations, just whatever it is, sending out, you know, tools, videos, things like that. But you're always connecting with people. You're always sharing something with them. Super important. And oh, before I go on, the prospecting is the lifeblood of this business. So if you aren't prospecting, you are not growing. If you aren't prospecting, you are going backwards, whether you know it or not. And that was us. Our business seemed to be growing even when we pulled back on the reins, you know, a little bit. But over time, it started to slow down. So it's kind of a lingering measure of what you're doing. So be aware, you need to be prospecting if you want to grow this business and you want to keep growing this business. Number 3, following up. They say the fortune is in the follow-up, and they're absolutely right. You know, you're having success on the products. You have reached out to people. You have made new connections. You've made new friends at this point. You're sharing with people. But why let it all fall through the cracks if we're not following up? Because people are busy. I'm super busy, and I have people that come and talk to me about different things, whether in the automotive or other areas. And I'm generally interested in what they have to share with me. But all it takes is another phone call, and I forget, and I move on to the next thing. And so that's our responsibility. And that is a big factor in this business, is following up with people, remembering that, hey, they're not just being jerks. They're not just ghosting you. Now they might be, and that's just part of it. But in reality, they're busy like we are. And so they forget. And the statistics are that it takes between 5 and 12 interactions, touches, follow-ups in some form or fashion. It doesn't really matter whether it's information, it's a text, it's just a checking in on, but it takes between 5 and 12 before people feel comfortable or confident, or to be able to use your product or join your business, whatever, however you're sharing with them, whatever you're sharing with them. So know that and don't be discouraged when they say no the first time, or the second, or the 5th time, or the 7th or 10th time. These are statistics that we can't argue with. It's just the way it is. So follow up. Everybody needs to be committed to following up. Now, number 4, team building and management. So while you can build a business on products alone, sharing products and helping people with their health, if you are really wanting to build this business, whether it's, a huge supplement to your income or a full-time income, you really need to build a team and learn how to manage that team. And it all takes personal development and growth to do that. But team building is, well, like what we're on this call today with Bob, and all of you are here as a team, encouraging each other, growing together, learning new skills, learning new stories that you can share with people, encouraging, either hosting events, inviting them to your companies or your team's events. There's a whole bunch of different things that come into team building, but there's training, there's new product launches, making people aware and keeping them current and keeping them plugged in and close to the campfire. That is huge for the success of your business, and getting beyond just that kind of that shallow, wide network. This is how we can really build deep and big and blow this business up and reach more people. Ultimately, getting into other people's networks is what this is all about. Number 5, and this is also important, is personal development. And personal development isn't number 5 because it's number 5 in priority. All of these are equally important. Keep that in mind. It's just we got a list and we got to go through them in this order. But personal development is just as important as using the products, because like we talked about, like was my experience in this product, sharing the product with people. When people started talking about me, saying, hey, oh, is he talking about that again? We could hear these whispers. We could hear these things. We get the no, and I didn't like how I felt. I wasn't mature. I hadn't grown enough to be able to handle that correctly. And I quickly withered away and said, hey, we're not growing this business. And we're all susceptible to that. Personal development, that's where personal development comes in. We need to be reading the Bible. We need to know where our standing is in Christ. We need to know, how he loves us. We need to be change our mindsets. We need to be reading books, about health. We need to be reading books about team building. We need to be reading books about prospecting, how to be a better friend, how to make friends, how to encourage. Whatever it is, we need to be growing as a person, because while this business is simple, it is hard mentally and emotionally at times. When you have, like Gabby shared, when you have a leg of a business build up to a director and it's really supporting you, and then all of a sudden they just, for whatever reason, circumstance in their life, it just crumbles and goes away. Do we have the resilience? Are we strong enough to be able to continue taking steps forward in spite of the things that happen around us? So personal development is huge. Commit to personal development. Number 6, social media marketing. As we touched on a little bit, social media is a great way to be able to prospect. But like me, I'm probably the most maybe I'm the most reluctant here to use social media. I don't like it, but I see the value in it. The acts, like we have our little circles of people here. Maybe some of us have larger circles where we're at, and depending on how we've loved people over the years, we may have access to even larger circles. But at some point we've shared with those people, and we may get to the point to where we're thinking, well, we're running out of people. Well, I say down with that, because we look around, there are millions and millions and hundreds of millions of people around us. So we're not running out of people, but we may be limited in our thinking. And social media is that doorway, that access to an incredible amount of people that are looking for interaction. They're looking for things that you're looking for. They're looking for the answers that we have right here, whether it's business or whether it's products that help. And we know there are so many other products out there that are inferior and that are actually hurting people and costing them money. We have something that they're looking for. So this year, I would recommend that no matter where you are or where you're at on social media, that you learn some of these skills. And whether you like it or not, social media is also one of the first places that people go to when you meet a new person. They'll go to your Facebook page, they'll go to your Instagram page, they'll go to whatever, just to find out what you're about. And so make sure that you have a presence on social media one way or the other, something that's not tacky and outdated, but something that looks, fresh. And it may not be your wheelhouse, that may not be your main focus, and that's fine. But know that it's there and know that people are using it. So commit to social media in some form or fashion, and it may be the thing that blows your business up as well. So here's an example. Consistency plus time equals success. If we do these things every day, follow-ups, prospecting, team building, personal development, being a product of the product, we do that and we're consistent with it. It's like this unseen funnel that we have, and you're putting prospects in there, and you'll eventually get this constant stream of people, access to people that will be interacting on a regular basis. You won't be wondering who you're going to talk to. Now, you might right at the beginning, you might have the same group of people that you're reaching out to, but you keep doing this and you keep reaching out to new people, you'll eventually have such a huge database of folks and that you're constantly interacting with, and you'll be building on these, 5, 10, 12 interactions with these people, and you will have success. This is amazing. So in order to do this, we have to find a way to track this, because as your business grows, your your record keeping is going to grow. The people that you're interacting, you need to know who you've talked to, when you've talked to, how you've talked to. How do you keep track of, if you know your prospects, how do you keep track of, and please don't tell me you're using sticky notes. I mean, you can't, maybe at the beginning using sticky notes, but it's not a good long-term way to track your stuff. We need to use something to track what we're doing. And so this is what I recommend. These are things that everybody has access to, and some of these are available for free. Now I don't know what you guys have on your team, but if you guys use the success tracker here down at the bottom left of the screen, this is a very simple. This is free. This is what we used for years and years and years, and we still use it to track our weekly activities. You can write how many people you've connected with, invited, how you've followed up with them, if you've done any presentations, if you've registered for your events, bought tickets. You can even add to this, like, have you done your exercise? Have you done your different things that you need to do, taking your products, all of that stuff. But this lets you track what you do week to week and compare it to the results that you get at the end of each week. And you can even refer back to these if you save them and see how well you've progressed. The top left, you can get this on Amazon. It's an activity log. This is excellent. It's very inexpensive, but it's very excellent for when you come across, when you're sharing with people, you meet new people, you write the name, the time, where their name, how you met them. Just little tidbits of information that remind you of who that person is, to put a face to it, and when was the last time. And then you can go back through there and you can know, that's kind of like a hot list on who you've been, your short list, who you need to follow up with immediately, and keep it very current. Very, very inexpensive, but very necessary for keeping track of your people. Otherwise, it's easy to forget. Like I say, we have stuff going on. Everybody's got things, and it's easy to forget people and let these people fall through the cracks. So all that work that you've done can just disappear. No, I don't think so. Here in the middle, we have this 90-day activity journal. This is a very specialized journal that is available online for network marketing, for what we're doing. And it has even more features in it than the activity log. It'll let you add, like, what are your goals? What are your desires? What are you thankful for? Things like that. And even have things like, have you used your product, or done your exercise? Or you can much more tailored to specialized for network marketing. So that's another, maybe a little bit more expensive, but it's another option for keeping track. But here on the right is an application that we came across. We were introduced, I think last year, to this Teamzy. And this Teamzy, it is powerful. We're not going to train on this, but I'll give you it's just another tool that you can have. It's available online, and you have access to it from your phone. So you have all of this stuff, and it combines all the things on the left into this application. You can track your prospects. All their information is in here, as much as you put into it. You can set up your dailies. You'll see in the middle, your social posts, personal development, use products, exercise. Have you done those each day? And you can check off, boom, 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 boom. And you can add others to make sure that you stay on track with what you need to do, even in the midst of all the distractions. This is basically your dashboard of how you run your network marketing business. This also will allow you to put in your goals. In another window, you can put in, like, what kind of income you want to develop your business to, and it will adjust how many connections you need to make, how much prospecting you need to do per day, how many customer follow-ups, how many distributor follow-ups, those kinds of things. It will assign you how many you need to do each day, and it populates the list. So you don't even have to wonder, who do I need to follow up with? That list down in the bottom left, it tells you, check in with these people. And as you check in with those, you can do more, and it will just keep repopulating that list. And or when you finish, you come back the next day and it's repopulated with the new, prospects for that day and the new follow-ups for that day. So this tracks so much, accessible from your phone or your computer, but it is amazing. Gabby and I started using it last year when we got introduced to it, and we love it. We absolutely do love it. So if you guys are interested in that, you can ask. We can give you a little bit more information another time. So I'll leave you with this. Remember, a DMO isn't about being busy all the time. It's about being productive in the time you have allocated. Consistency is key, and it's what transforms ordinary network marketers into extraordinary ones. Start creating your DMO today and pave your way to success in your NeoLife business. So thank you guys for taking the time, allowing us to share some of these things that have helped us, and just share about our stories. We really appreciate your time. We know time is valuable. So
thank you, Bob, for
you.
all you do for
Yeah.
everyone's team.
Absolutely, Bob. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys. I appreciate your help so much. And for me, about the best thing you said, Joel, was it's not dependent on personality. That's amazing. I always thought it was, because you see these really dynamic people, you know, but you're saying if you do fundamentals, you're doing the right thing, so it's gonna make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. The people that get out there and just stay consistent and do what we just talked about, keep track and just reach out and just plod through it, they're going to have the success over the person that's super dynamic, but only reaches out once in a while. Like they're not going to see that growth. I think Eric Worre, on that training that you guys are going to do, he said something. What was it? He said, he's like, there's the person that wants perfection. There's the person that is going to practice every day, all day long for like one big production or one big presentation. And then there's the person that's not worried about what people are thinking of them, and they're just going to get out. They're going to start trying it on people, and they're going to fail, but they're going to try it 3, 4, 5 times a day, and they're going to do it 3, 4, 5 times a day the next day, and they're going to do that over the course of the same amount of time that other person is preparing for their one big presentation. They're going to be light years ahead in their business, and they're actually going to wind up being better, because every one of those reach outs, every one of those presentations, whatever it is that they're doing, they're growing and they're learning from. They're going to be so far ahead by the time that person does their first presentation. It's unreal. And that's how this business is. Just get out there and do it. It doesn't matter how it turns out. Just learn from it and evaluate it and do it differently the next time.
So you're saying that even if we're clumsy and awkward, not a big deal, because our skill set is going to grow just by doing it, right?
Absolutely. And sometimes the clumsy and awkward gives
it's duplicatable.
It's duplicatable. It gives other people hope. Now if you're really rough, like, look, go ahead and let's learn from it. Let's not
where the personal development comes in.
Yeah, that's where the personal development does come in. But to be honest, like, some people hear a really flashy presentation, and that just triggers their limiting belief. Like, well, they're really good at that. I could never do that. No, but when they see you doing a home presentation and the home's not, like all put together, if it's your home, or if you're doing it and you're stumbling kind of through and like you have technical difficulties, you don't have it all put together, they can relate to that. They can relate to some dysfunction. They can relate to, not having it all together. That's what people relate to. And they're like, oh, well, if he can do it, then I guess I can do it, So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I want to say one thing on personal development. Did you say something about we need to feed our mind? I think I heard you say that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say who it was with, but there's this distributor that he sells millions, and I see him every now and then, and I was pretty depressed and down, and I called him and said, I'm just not cut out for this. I don't have what it takes. And he diagnosed me like in 7 seconds. He says to me, Bob, have you been doing your personal development reading? I mean, it took him about 7 seconds because he could hear the negativity, the fear. And I said, no. He said, well, start doing it. So I start reading Zig Ziglar, about 2 days, confidence up to past my head, because it feeding my mind, I was the same person, but not having the beneficial input. And I was getting overwhelmed, crippled with fear, can I do this? Can I do it? Well, I started reading Zig, and it just started doing something in my brain. I don't know exactly how it works, but that fear started going away.
Yep.
Yeah, it is so true. One thing I always love to share, especially when it comes to building your team, because some people, they say, well, I don't want to build a team. I don't want to go that big with it. I just want, the extra 500, or I want a small, and that's fine. That's all I really need. And that's fine. This business can do that. But remember, Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get everything that you want in the process. And that's where it comes, like building that team, building that market. Like, you don't have to think of it as like, I'm going to build this dynasty so I can have more, but you're helping people get what they want by doing that. You're helping them and you're transforming lives. And in the process, your lives are going to be transformed.
Okay, and I just mentioned two other things. One is that if our focus is on adding value, then we got nothing to apologize for, because their health is their life is horrid if they don't have their health. And so what we're doing, we got to be non-apologetic because it's adding value, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other thing, I think you mentioned this too, income producing activities. You know, if we're spending all our time reading a manual, okay, that's fine. Or all our time in personal development, that's good, but it's not income producing. What's income producing is, they said, is conversations.
Yeah.
You know, and connecting either on the phone or text or in person. That's where, because it has to eventually have enough trust in there or willingness to meet for a presentation, right? Either in person or Zoom.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the list of items that for your daily, method of operations, your dailies that you would do, it's easy because our personalities are so different. It's easy for us to fall back on one or two or three that are most comfortable to us. And we're going to think that our business is going to grow that way. But in reality, we have to do all of them. We have to do all of them, because there's going to come a point, even if you're strong at reaching out, you may go through a season where everybody's telling you no. But and you need to be you need to be growing your mind and growing your strength and everything to be able to combat that and walk through it that season. And maybe an extended season too. You need to maybe even learn in your personal development, like, hey, what am I doing? Evaluate what you're doing or how you're sharing, and why is it not being effective? Maybe it was effective before, maybe it's not being effective now, because we see how times shift. Pre-COVID, we were all in homes and everybody was on Zooms. And then now it's getting back to where people like the face-to-face again, and we're back in the homes. And if you're not growing and you're not aware of this, you're going to be stuck wondering, like, why am I not being effective anymore? Well, maybe we're stuck in a trend that's kind of going by the wayside. So personal development is huge. We have to be treating each one of those equally, and even do the things that are uncomfortable to us. So very important that all of those points are followed.
Right. Victor or Kevin, Cornelius, do you guys have any questions? Because Joel and Gabby, they built this beautiful, wonderful business, touches a lot of people. So ask them a question. Or Tracy, anybody, you guys want to ask a quick question? And then we'll move on to, we got a 6-minute presentation left with Rick. But does Kevin or Deb, got a question you might want to ask? Well, we got some experts on our line here.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm Robert. I'm Joyce. I'm Robert's wife. So, Joel, you mentioned that you suffered with sinus infections. I too have sinus infections. In fact, I have chronic how do they pronounce it? Sinusitis.
Sinusitis.
Yeah, I can't get rid of, sinus congestion, runny nose every morning. I've got a cough now, congestion. I am lactose intolerant. I'm gluten intolerant. I've cut all gluten out, all milk products. I'm just at a loss to try to get rid of, the runny nose and the congestion. And you said that you took, I wrote down what products you took, but is there one certain one that helped you get rid of the sinus problem? This is driving me crazy.
Well, I think a really, NeoLife is so big on core nutrition, and to narrow it down to like one thing that like the fix all, it would be hard for me to say that because it really changed when I boosted my immunity. So being on the weight loss pack, being on the extra salmon oil, then eventually adding, more carotenoid and more, just these core products, my immunity went through the roof. Like when people get sick around me,
Yeah.
I don't get sick, and that's wonderful. So that's a big
That's it.
deal.
Okay.
But
makes-
the other thing though is the rest specs is crazy awesome. My doctor told me before we left California, I had just had that ear surgery, and he basically prescribed me and says, for the rest of your life, you're going to take, and he didn't even tell me which one to take. He says, whatever works for you. He says, take Sudafed, take Mucinex, take a decongestant. He says, take it every day. And I'm thinking, every day? I mean, like these are, you see on the extended use, you see on the back, like the side effects and stuff. I was like, oh, blood pressure, and it raises your blood pressure. And I had already been struggling with that. I was like, okay. And so I did. I mean, I was listening to my doctor kind of a little bit at that point still. But I was just barely on these products for a while, and I started getting better and whatever. And that's when they came out with the Resp 11 before it was Resp Specs. And I started on that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff works. And so I started taking the Resp 11 at that time, what's now Resp Specs. And I really wasn't even on those decongestants for very long because it had just come out about that time. And so I'm using that stuff, and I'll take one in the morning and I'll take one at night, even when I don't have any problems. I just do it just so when I go to sleep, preventative, that I drain well. And because mine is like a mechanical kind of like it'll pull up and then it turns into infections and stuff. So I just take it as maintenance. I take one Respex in the morning when I wake up. I take one Respex at night, no matter if I'm feeling 100%. That's what I do. And then if I am getting stuffy, like I got some cold or something weird like that, then I'll take as much as I need of that.
Well, I give them garlic at night for a couple of nights.
If I do feel something come on, because that's why the garlic is amazing. If I feel like a stuffy ear or something like that, because I know it'll just turn into an infection, I just preemptively start hitting it with garlic. I'll do garlic at night before bed, and then then we can follow up with some probiotics or whatever.
I just kind of looked up really fast sinusitis, and it just said most of the time it can go away on its own without treatment, but to prevent your sinuses from getting clogged. So that's why he's able to do the Respex in the morning and night if you can keep cleared out and avoid getting colds and other infections. So that would be the boosting the immunity would be an important part. And then it says, to eat a diet healthy and antioxidant rich fruits and vegetables. So, that's from Google.
I'm just hearing from your perspective where you say, hey, you're gluten intolerant or lactose and stuff like that.
Has wheat in it.
Well, I wouldn't be worried about that as much as
you tried it. What were you saying?
I did try the Respex, and because I read that it has wheat product in it, I stopped.
Okay. Oh, I definitely wouldn't worry about that at all.
No.
But what I do wonder is how much of this, this allergens trigger excess mucus and excess stuff like that. And so if you have if you're having reactions to gluten and lactose and everything, you may be, definitely take your Respex or, keep your immunity boosted, but you may have some gut issues going on where you're going to have to, add your enzymes and take your probiotics and stuff and get your gut regulated. So, because we have a friend, a really good friend of ours that couldn't eat any lactose at all, couldn't eat cheese, couldn't eat anything. And it would just ruin his week. And he got on what was it?
Beta-Just and enzymes.
Beta-Just and enzymes, and he didn't even take that much. He didn't take as much as we recommended him take. He took less, but it took a longer and a lot, like months and months. And then all of a sudden he tries some dairy. He had a little bit on accident and didn't mess him up, and so he tried some more. And now he can eat all the dairy in the world. He can eat back to eating cheese.
Wow.
And everything, has no issues, and ice cream, zero issues with lactose anymore, and he hadn't been able to do that for years and years. So and I know that triggers allergens and sinus just
Yeah.
lays it on even worse upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll try all that. I'll go back. I'll order it and I'll try that again. And yes, I'm willing.
What is your
Thank
name?
you.
What is your name? Since I've never seen you before, what is your name?
Oh, I'm Joyce. Joyce Ridge. I'm Robert's wife.
Okay, wonderful.
I'm
have some,
signed under Robert. Yeah.
I have some good info on sinusitis. I'll send you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, you bet.
Sounds good.
Okay, you guys, let's give
Okay.
Joel and Gabby a huge hand of gratitude. Thank you guys for
Yay.
helping.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having us.
Welcome.
This is awesome. Good seeing all of you guys.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And you guys, now we're going to go to Rick Bird. He's got 6 minutes from Eric Worre on some skill sets. So Rick, are you ready?
Yeah, I guess I'm ready on this. You asked me to speak about chapter 1 on his GoPro book that Eric wrote. And basically what it is that Eric said that there's 5, quote, jobs, unquote, that he recognizes. And I'm pretty sure that almost every one of us have gone, well, I know I've gone through all 5 of them. And the first one is basically a blue collar person. And those are what Webster's dictionary and WikiLeaks say is a laborer, somebody that is out there. And when he says laborer, they could be doing anything from a production to building a home to doing house care, taking care of people. Those are the laborers that are out there. And everybody that does that, they get a paycheck, they go through work, they get a paycheck, they go through life with this paycheck, and they're looking for something better as it goes. And they're at least just surviving day-to-day basics with the paycheck that they have coming in. The next one is a white collar worker. I spent 28 years as a white collar worker. And what they are is the people that are in supervisors, managerial positions, and stuff like that. You're basically the next step up. And usually you're working in a cubicle or you're got an office desk or something like that. And your job is to make sure that the blue collar workers are doing the job that they need to do in order for the business to be controlled and keep on going. What this all leads up to is that there's always a next level up that you're actually working for. So when it comes to that, you're not, even though you, like me, who was a boss for 28 years and I had over 30 people that I was underneath me, I was working and hoping for a pension and hoping that a good retirement, so forth and so on. And that's what everybody's looking forward to, is to be able to have that, how can I put it, basically have it to where you're going to be able to enjoy life someday without the stress and the struggles throughout the day. The third job is a sales position, which once again, you are being employed by an employer to do sales for people, or for the owners of the business. And through the sales, you're expecting the blue collar people to be able to provide what you're trying to sell. And so it's basically this chain that we're going through life and trying to better ourselves throughout the entire day or entire year, entire life. By doing this, you are, I'm trying to get this down to where I could say it, that it's a chain of things that is going on, that everybody's working together in order to try to get to a certain point. And the blue collar workers are hoping that someday they're going to be able to move up and Then after that, well, what I should say is that when it comes to the white collar workers, I guess there's achievers and then there's hiders. And achievers usually go and really put their best foot forward for the company. They really try, they are innovators. They're looking for ways to save the company money. They're doing whatever it takes in order for this business to grow. And then there's hiders. And the hiders are the ones that kind of just get in there. They do what they need to do to keep the company running, but they aren't looking for the company to get any bigger. They kind of hide in the corner. That's why he calls them hiders. And just to change it up a little bit, I was in a production part. I was a white collar worker in production, and I always had a problem because I had to produce the stuff for the salespeople, and the salespeople were the ones that were always creating the problems for me from making the company grow, because I was constantly having to change things throughout the time because they would come up with a sale. What I'm trying to get to is the fact that once you go through these steps, which he's talking about, blue collar workers, white collar workers, salespeople, he gets into the business owners, small business, whatever it takes. And these people, sure, they are the ones that actually own the business. They have to basically take care of everything on top of what the blue collar workers, the white collar workers, and the salespeople don't. They have all the overhead. They have the brick and mortar. They have everything that it takes to run a business as their responsibility. So they're paying their workers, the salespeople, the white collar workers, the blue collar workers, and basically all of the stuff in order to create the products or whatever they're doing, whether it's building homes or working at a restaurant or whatever. They have to make sure that they have that in order to get where they want to be, and that's to have a good living later on in life. The fourth thing that he was talking about, well, that was the fourth one. The fifth one that he's talked about was investors. And during the investors, I was also part of that too. I planted all of my money in the stock market and hoping that the stock market was going to give me or give us a good life so that we can live well. Stock markets go up, stock markets go down. My personal experience when the stock market went down, I had put all of my money into investments to where they were kind of a high risk. And I watched the crash of the stock market, and I started calling my stock market professional, and he kept on telling me to let it ride, let it ride, let it ride. I ended up losing $800,000.
Oh man.
And so I finally pulled my money out of that, and working for the business that I was working for, they ended up going to another city and asked me to go and run it. I said, no, thank you. I took my severance package and I started my own business. And I ran that for a while. And I realized that I was not the type of person to be a salesman. And I just didn't have that sales thing. Well, as Eric puts it, that after you get into the stock market and things like that happen, there's really one other place, and he calls it network marketing. And he said that's the place to go. It gives everybody a chance to do all 5 of these jobs, but it's yours. And especially when it comes to network marketing, and as much as I love NeoLife and the way that they have it set up, is it's not a network market, and it's not a MLM, multi-level market thing. It is to a point, but there's always that point that we get to branch off and go farther and beyond the person that got us involved in NeoLife in the first place. But the biggest point that I just realized after listening to Josh and Gabby on this is that it's not because we're getting, Barb and I didn't get into it to go and make money. We were successful in a couple of brick and mortar businesses that we put out and we sold them. But the fact that we can help people, that's why we're in this business. And so if you're in the business and you know that you can make the money, what they just presented throughout this whole entire their entire thing presentation that they gave, it was awesome. It opened my eyes. I learned a lot from them just on that. But Eric Worre's book goes way beyond just the beginning chapter. After that chapter, once you get into the book, the way that he presents it is pretty much parallels along with what Gabby and Josh went through. Joel, I'm sorry, I called him Josh. What Gabby and Joel went through. It is a fantastic book. It's something that I recommend that everybody read. And I hope I didn't butcher the first chapter too much, but this is just something because we read it, almost a year ago? And I'm trying to remember everything that he said. So I guess I'm up 6 minutes. And Bob, you can have it.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
Sure thing.
Yeah, those are the 5 main ways people make money, and our job is to add value to people's lives and not have to worry about our personality, which that's so encouraging. If we do those daily method of operations, we can still do it. Can you guys see the book I have that Rick was reading out of? Can you guys see this? Yeah, there. Okay, there we go. GoPro is the book, and it's very interesting. It outlines the skills we need to develop, and we'll hear more about that Tuesday at 9. Anyway, let's thank Rick and Joel and Gabby for sharing content with us. And, this will be recorded. Daniel, when do you think this will be up? Because I already have people asking.
I can have it uploaded to YouTube today.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so you guys can go to our site and you can use this link. Joel and Gabby had maybe 9 or 10 health things they overcame. So, I mean, their life is so much better, but now through having shared with other people, they can get their own product for free and have backup income, which Joel, when COVID hit, didn't some of you guys' income stop for a while with the shop or something? Because it seems like I remember something about that.
Oh yeah, you remember that. Yeah, well, you know, with the shop, you're relying on society and everybody coming in. So when they shut things down and told everybody not to come in, we were one of the essential businesses that could stay open, and we did remain open, but nobody was coming out. Hardly anybody. There's a few that came out, but in reality, we kept some guys on just to be open to the public and supportive. But we didn't have any income coming in for the owners, you know, for about, I don't know, 3 weeks or something like that, 4 weeks. And NeoLife was there. I mean, it was amazing to have that and not even worry about it. Now, some of my other partners didn't have that kind of, you know, relief, but it was a testimony to having a plan B or a plan C, or maybe this is your plan A and I'm working plan B, you know, every day at the shop. So no, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and to give you an example of how helpful this can be. So Joel and Gabby had backup income, which so valuable, so helpful. There's another business in the team Joel and Gabby are in, Votbergs, that the dad he went from 100 employees down to one in one day, you know, in their LA business. And her husband lost her job, Elisha, I was told. And yet Katie made $5,000 or $6,000 with her side income hustle, which was making their house payments. Is that amazing? So this was all developed on a part-time thing. So you guys, the main thing, we want to add value to other people's lives. And Joel quoted Ziegler as saying that if we help enough other people get what they want, we can have whatever we want because it'll grow to the level of our skills. So thank you, Joel and Gabby, for sharing with us so much your amazing story and how to build. And thank you, Rick. And you guys, those that you want to join us Tuesday at 9 a.m. on that other Zoom, 963-644-1807, password ATP. We'll have an hour of training from Eric Worre, who wrote the book that Rick was going out of. And then we'll share more about these testimonies on that terminal cancer case and the dementia comeback and the ticks and so on. So you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks everyone that contributed. Thanks for being on today, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank
Have a good
you.
one, Bob.
Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
David.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye,
Yeah.
everybody. Have a wonderful day.
You have a wonderful day too.
Was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Robert,
Yes, sir.
for Joyce,
Oh, yes.
for the cough, you got a constant cough.
Yeah. I've got congestion.
I got the herbal respiratory.